This weekend, of course, we do have UFC Mexico City going down. Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, and then Brandon Moreno once again fighting Brandon Royval. The battle of the Brandons. I saw a crazy stat the other day. Since Ortega last fought, we've had the rise and the debut of Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira was not in the UFC last time Brian Ortega fought. Since then, Pereira's fought 7 or 8 times. He's beaten 4 champions. He's been a champion in 2 weight divisions since Brian Ortega last fought. That is wild. And Brian Ortega's back, and he says that it is the rebirth. It's the rebirth. And he likened it to an eagle. He said an eagle lives for 70 years. Year 40, around about 40 years old, its beak is all blunt, its talons are blunt, its feathers start falling out, so it flies off to some majestic little cove, sits there, rips its talons off, plucks itself, rips its beak off, waits for it all to grow back, and then it can go back into the wild. Reborn, rebirthed, hard as fuck, sharp as a talon, and ready to rip some heads off dick to dick and nipple to nipple. Do you know what I mean? I thought that was great, but I didn't know that eagles live for 70 years.
Yeah, I had no idea. They are truly an incredible bird. Man, what is that you're drinking?
Oh, don't worry about it. This is Magic Mind. Magic Mind. It's delicious, actually. It's one of those, everyone's talking about mushrooms and stuff these days and clarity and focus. And God knows I need a little bit of that. And it's definitely helping. I looked it up online. This has got vitamin C, ashwagandha, cordyceps, lion's mane, all kinds of goodness. And it tastes absolutely bloody delicious. So, I'm going to be locked in. My mental clarity is going to be off the chain. I mean, that interview with Anthony Hernandez, award winning. Okay. And it's all down to my Magic Mind. Okay. So anyway.
Damn, they're going to have to catch you for PD as in broadcasting. You're
yeah,
too focused.
Exactly. Anyway, Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. Last time Ortega took some time off, he lost to Max Holloway and then didn't return for about 2 years. Came back, fought in Abu Dhabi. I forget who it was against now. Chang Sung Jung, the Korean zombie. And he looked like a different fighter. He looked reborn. Right, he looks like an eagle coming out of the mountains. Okay, he did. His boxing was the best it had ever been, and so we don't know what version of Brian Ortega we're going to get again because 2 years away, and he's talking about this rebirth big time. Hold on, it is delicious as well. He's talking about being reborn. So, what does that mean when you're going up against Yair Rodriguez? Does it mean he's going to be spinning around like some capoeira master, right? Because Brian Ortega is known for the jiu-jitsu. Stick to what you're good at, Mr. Ortega, right? Don't try and go toe-to-toe and spin for spin with Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean, that maybe that is it, right? Maybe it's like the eagle comes back and it's like, oh no, I'm still the badass I was, when I was a 20-year-old eagle, right? I'm going to show you by using all those same moves. So it's like maybe we're back to T-City and a slick guillotine submission.
We need to think of some more eagle comparisons.
Ooh, I got one.
He's bold. He's going to shake his head like a bold eagle. What kind of eagles do we have?
Golden.
Oh, he's looking for a golden performance. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. What kind of eagles is there? I should call Rebecca in. She's the expert on birds. That's all she does in the garden. Right, this morning, like I just walked out there a second ago to use the bathroom. She's sitting there staring at the birds in the cage, and in the garden, she's like Mary Poppins. She puts all like the nuts out and stuff. They got ferrets, there's squirrels, there's rabbits, there's crows. We're spending a bloody fortune feeding these wild animals, and they're all getting very impatient. Right, I swear to God, they all sit there waiting for her in the morning. All these animals, and the crows get aggressive. They're like, oh God, they're like, give me my peanuts, is what they're saying in crow language. I'm like, babe, we can't budget in bloody, this amount of peanuts. No wonder we haven't had Anthony Smith on lately. I've had to cut him off. I've had to cut Anthony off because of the peanuts. I can't afford him anymore. That's a joke, by the way. Anthony is back on Monday. I
love that you're Rocky and you have a real life Adrian who just wants to care for the birds at home.
That's all she cares about. That's all she cares about. In fact, all she's been going on about, because remember a few weeks ago, one of the birds got attacked by a hawk outside. So now the birds have been inside the whole time. And she's worried about the birth. She's worried about their mental health. I'm worried about my mental health because I'm going to wring these birds' neck, right? I'm telling you, because all they do,
sick the dogs on them.
Yeah, that's been done before. Harry brought one in, didn't he? Headless. So she's looking for a screen and all the rest of it. We're trying to figure out a way we can put the birds outside without the hawks attacking. If anybody knows in the comment section, the best thing to do, we've bought a panel, like a fake wall. Anyway, nobody came here to hear that. Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez, my pick, my choice for that, because I'm not commentating. I can't make a pick. I'm kind of leaning towards Brian Ortega, but I think Yair Rodriguez, I think on paper when I assess the skills, I think Brian Ortega, but for some reason, I think with it being Mexico City and the kind of nastiness that Yair Rodriguez has, that kind of flips me and I find it hard to pick against him. Let's remember, Yair Rodriguez in Mexico City, that man gets nasty. I walked into the octagon last time, if you recall, to interview him after I poked Jeremy Stevens by accident. He almost attacked me. The crowd went crazy, flinging Modelos at us and stuff like that. Brendan Fitzgerald hid under the fence. Anyway, my pick's Yair. What you got?
Yeah, look, I'd love to disagree with you just to make it interesting, but I think Yair Rodriguez is setting up something special with Ilia Topuria, right? That's where my brain goes. He was talking about, it doesn't need to be in a cage. I just want to mess that guy up. Like, yeah, good job. You went and did what you said you were going to do, but this is like, it's on site. I will just start fighting you if I see you in a training center. He really wants it, Ilia Topuria. The only thing standing in front of him is Brian Ortega, and it's a guy who he's got to win over. Granted, Ortega did get hurt, but like all things equal, you walked into a cage against Brian Ortega, you walked out with your hand raised, like that has to give you so much confidence, especially now fighting him at altitude in your backyard.
What is the beef with Ilia Topuria? And you're right, because Yair and Ortega fought before. Yair was declared the winner because of Ortega's shoulder injury. That's just the way it works, kind of like Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades. So realistically, it's a win, but it isn't necessarily a proper win. Main event, Moreno versus Royval. This is a rematch. First fight went down. Moreno got the stoppage, if I believe, right at the end of round one, chipping away with loads of hammer fists. The ref stopped it, but Royval, I think he had an injured shoulder as well. So the main and the co-main rematches with injured shoulders being the reason why the fight stopped. But I do think the hammer fists were the reason. I've got Moreno in this. I think he's improved so much since that first fight. I was watching that first fight yesterday, and he was swinging and looping his punches, a little reckless. Now, if you look at Moreno, the boxing's so tight, it's crisp, he's got big power. Of course, he took the back many times in that first fight. He does that fantastically. Against Pantoja, he was able to avoid submissions. He got back to his feet. He's got great wrestling. He's better than ever. It'll be a fun fight because Royval is capable of pulling off something crazy. He is very opportunistic. If Moreno makes a mistake and leaves an opportunity for Royval to take a submission or even land a big knee or something like that, he'll take it. But I think unless something like that happens, Brandon Moreno gets the victory and is one step closer to a rematch with Pantoja.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough when that first fight ended so decisively, and Moreno got it done on a fight where, Figueiredo's on that same card. Either guy is looking to win that fight to call out, the champion who's fighting in at the top of the card. And he got the quick turnaround a month later to go fight for a title. He made the most of that opportunity. And both guys were at the same point. Either one could have jumped up and become a champion. Brandon Moreno goes on that 4-fight run. Essentially, I think cements himself as a place in the UFC Hall of Fame with that series of fight with Davis and Figueiredo. So to me, having that as your journey versus Brandon Royval being on the losing end of that, he did get his title shot and he came up short once again. I can't see Brandon Moreno losing to this guy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the main and co-main event this weekend. I think I'm going to do a live on my YouTube channel for the main card. If you guys are around and want to jump on, feel free.